Hi friends, thanks for joining me today. Today is kind of a lazy stay-at-home day, pretty hot here. Getting ready to get in the pool, but I thought I would show you how to make some applesauce with your leftover apples. And when I say leftover, I mean the apples that are starting to maybe turn brown, have spots on them. They're a little squishy to the feel, and it's something that you would normally just throw into the trash can and not think anything of it. But why? Why would you do that when you could make some fresh homemade applesauce? So today I'm going to show you how to make applesauce from scratch, excuse me, not sauces. And I hope you enjoy this tutorial. The apples that I like to use are the ones that I wouldn't eat fresh otherwise. They're getting a little squishy in texture. Let me show you. I've got one Granny Smith apple, and I've got two of these Fuji apples. They're pretty good in size. I would consider them a large apple. Anyways, they're nice, washed, rinsed, and we're going to get an apple peeler and peel the apples first, and then we're going to dice them into little small chunks. So I'll be right back. I prefer peeling the apples with just your standard potato peeler. I know they've got those handy dandy apple slicer things that you put them on the spit, then you spin it and it takes the apple out of the core out of the middle and it peels it and all that. It takes too long to set up. It's too much hassle. And you have to pull the apple off and hope you don't rip off your finger every single time. So this is just a good old apple peeler. We're just peeling the apples, and then I'll be back to explain to you how to proceed further. And we're back. Now that we're done slicing and making sure that the core is out of the apple and all the seeds are removed, we are left with some beautiful slices. Let me show you. And now all that we're going to do is we're going to dice them up. The smaller the pieces, the faster your applesauce will cook. So I recommend little tiny little cubes, maybe half an inch. And we're going to throw them into a medium-sized saucepan. I like to use the ones that are not non-stick because I'm going to be using an emulsion blender at the end of this to purify all of the apples and make it into applesauce. So if you use a non-stick pan, your non-stick pan might get damaged from the blade of the emulsion blender. So I have a all-clad that I'm putting it into, and that's just a regular stainless steel medium-sized saucepan. Okay, so let's get these things chopped up. I would say probably from start to finish until we're at this point here. This has taken me maybe 5 minutes to get to this process. And there's no real science to this, just dice them up. Just try and make sure that the pieces are somewhat similar in size so that they'll all cook about the same time. Maybe get brave and do a couple of these at one time. And any type of apples will work for this. I like to use the Fuji apples because they're naturally crisp and sweet. Also, we have 2 Fuji apple trees, so that makes it nice because after I'm done making apple pies and eating all the apples that are fresh for the season, when I'm left over with, like I said, apples that are kind of on the verge and starting to get soft, this is a wonderful thing to have on hand for morning breakfast or for babies. You could make this into a baby applesauce because there's no preservatives. Everything is fresh ingredients. Okay, and as you can see, this one is a little bit brown in color, has some bruising, but that's all right. It doesn't matter, okay? Get them in the pan. And again, today we're just doing about 3 medium to large apples. Okay? So now I'm going to put about 1/2 cup of water into the apples. This will give it some liquid to cook and to boil in. The apples themselves are full of liquid, and so you don't need to put too much into the mixture. So I'm going for just a half a cup, okay? I know it doesn't seem like much. It hasn't really covered up the apples, but as they cook and they simmer, you're gonna find that it's gonna make its own liquid. All right, let's get this on the burner. Here we are at the stove, and I'm just gonna turn it on, put it on a low heat, just until it starts to boil. I'm gonna say probably, well, actually a medium to low heat. I'm gonna do a 4 on my gas top stove. I'm not sure what your settings are like, but that's usually about a soft boil, okay? Okay, and I'm gonna show you, this is about the size of the flame that we want on a gas stove top to have these apples start to cook and simmer. I've put the lid on the apples, and we're going to let it simmer until it starts to come to a boil, probably about, I would check it in 10 minutes. Okay, it's got its lid on, flame's going. Let's go ahead and set the timer for 10 minutes. Okay, we've got the apples on. They're on the stove top on a medium to low heat. I've got my setting on my stove just a little above 4. Let's turn it down just a little bit because I can see it starting to steam. Let's check on these babies and see how they're doing. See how they're starting to boil, and lots of nice liquid is in the pan. Ooh, got a little steamy there for you. Okay, like I said, we've got a good, the timer's been going for about 5 minutes now. We got about 5 minutes to kill. So let's go see what else is going on around here. I didn't get very far. The stovetop called me back because the lid was starting to rattle. So I have put the lid at an angle, and I think I'm going to adjust the heat down just a little bit more. That's simmering pretty good. You don't want it to boil dry, okay? Now let's head outside, see what we can see. Like I said, it's a beautiful hot day here. No, it's about 85 degrees. Hummingbirds are over here going nuts. Their feeder's about empty. We'll need to refill that. Say hello. Say hello, everybody. They're so cute. They're entertaining. I wanted to show you over here on the side yard. This is my lime tree. Hopefully we're gonna have some good limes this year so that we can make some margaritas. We got a few on the branches. I'm hoping that too many critters don't steal all of my stuff. But they're doing nicely. And the most important thing that I wanted to show you is my plumeria is blooming. You know how much I love my plumeria from my grandparents. Oh, I wish I had smell-o-vision so that you guys could smell how wonderful that is. And over here, this is my orange tree. Not doing so good. I did get little flowers, little buds on there, but no oranges. And I fertilized it, but it does look like I have some sort of a critter that's been over here munching. So I think he pretty much took all of my little orange buds off there for me. Gonna guess it was a grasshopper. Don't want to make you too dizzy here, turning around. I really want to plant some basil. I've been addicted to a new cooking show called Vincenzo's Plate. Have you watched it? If you haven't, I highly suggest that you do, because he's got some great recipes and he cooks with his nonna, his grandma. It's too cute. So this is the yard. Over here we've got another hummingbird feeder. They don't seem to be as active. I've got one very possessive bird that hangs out on this feeder who won't let anybody else eat the food. See if we can get them. I know that's silly, but he'll usually come if I call him. He's a rufous hummingbird that comes up in the summertime. And you can hear them. They make a different cackling sound. There he is. Oh, did you hear him? Chase the other one away. Hilarious, entertaining. All right. Such a beautiful day. Let you get some peaceful waterfall going there. Oop, we just got buzzed. Let's see who came to say hi. He's sitting up there in the tree. You see him? Everybody that comes over here, including myself, will try to chase away, which is pretty comical. You hear him again right there. Don't know if he's going to let anybody come close. Maybe we can get him to come down here. All right, we're leaving. See you later. Got a cool looking pod coming out on the palm tree. All the beautiful flowers. Okay, let's go back inside and check on how our applesauce is doing. Before we go back inside, I forgot. I wanted to show you guys our Fuji trees. So they have some apples that are starting to come out. We're gonna have a good harvest this year. Let me flip this camera around and show you. Got a good bunch of apples that are starting to form on the tree. We always get such a good harvest from these beautiful ones. And we have 2 Fuji trees. You need 2 in order to get apples that are sweet that do not turn into crab apples. They have to be able to be cross-pollinated from all of our wonderful friends from nature, the bees and the flies and the butterflies. Anyway, that's our beautiful, beautiful trees. Look up there, we got a bunch. Can you see them? I know that the sun's in your eyes. But I wanted to show you that one of the tricks that I found to keep the mice and the rats out of the tree. I went to the animal supply store. Recognize that? The dog cone of shame. Well, they work great because they're big and they're slippery and the little pests can't crawl up the tree to get up in there to get the fruit. Now the birds, we have occasional birds that'll come and feed, but they're usually pretty good. They'll pick one apple, they'll stick with it, and they'll eat it, peck at it until it's gone. So I don't mind sharing with the birds. It's the other critters that have to go. Okay, back inside. Let's go check on our applesauce. Okay, we're back inside. I've grabbed a small paring knife for those of you that were freaking out that I was cutting the apples with a big gigantic knife. And we're just gonna take a peek and see how we're doing. And the best way to test is just to slide the knife into the apple. You want the apple to be soft. Stir them around a little bit. Not quite there. Some of the pieces are starting to cook up like we would like them to. But let's give it another, I'm gonna say another good 5 minutes, okay? So let's set this timer. Let's do 5 minutes. Oop, not that, we want the timer. Oops, timer, 5 minutes. All right, this isn't as easy as it looks, kids, without help. Okay, lid back on. Putting the full thing on this time, and let's check back in 5 minutes. Okay, so for those of you that are asking me, Michelle, what the heck is an emulsion blender? This is an emulsion blender. This one is from Cuisinart. It's a little handy dandy little wand. And it has this attachment with a little thin blade inside of a little dome, and that just snaps right on top of this. And now we're ready to go. I think I picked this one up at Walmart or Target. I don't really remember, but it wasn't that expensive. You can pick one up for less than $40. This is great for making soups, for pureeing applesauce, for pureeing anything, bananas, anything that you want to make into a smoothie. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that everybody in their kitchen have one of these. Okay, let's get started. We are simply going to just put it right down, get you closer here, into the apples. Okay, no more liquid needed, nothing. Now watch what this beauty does. I don't know how you like the consistency of your applesauce. I don't care for chunks in mine, so I'm going to blend it a little bit further until it gets a smooth consistency, and then I'll check back with you. Okay, I'm back. We're done purifying the apples. Remember, we used 3 medium to large size apples, 2 Fuji, and 1 Granny Smith. And we used our emulsion blender to purify the mixture. Total cooking time for the apples was approximately 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, with a half a cup of water and the lid on in a small saucepan. And you're gonna get a gorgeous applesauce that is so sweet, no sugar needed, and then you can simply just flavor it with whatever you choose, whether it's cinnamon or a little bit of, I don't know, granola, whatever you like. Put it on iced cream, eat it by itself, make bread with it. I've used that instead of an egg before. You can use applesauce as a substitute. I don't know if any of you are dairy free, but there's another good solution for you. But we have this beautiful, smooth, creamy applesauce. Let me show you. Okay, friends, and this is what we're left with. Beautiful. Remember how I told you that those spots in the apples wouldn't make a difference? They sure didn't, because look how beautifully golden your applesauce is. Okay, and I put it into a Pyrex mixing dish so that we could see how much we have. And 3 medium to large size apples made about 1.5 cups of applesauce. So you adjust your recipe for however many apples that you have. Again, this was a 3 medium to large size apples, a half a cup of water, about 15 to 20 minutes of cooking time. All of the apples, the most important thing is to make sure they're diced up about the same size, and no sugar, nothing needed, and you have this beautiful creamy applesauce. Okay, so can't wait to try it. Okay, again, friends, don't mind the red face because it's really hot here today, but I wanted to have you see me try it. It's really sweet, no preservatives. That's the best part, and it's from you, from scratch. You took about a half an hour out of your day and you made something beautiful and homemade, and I hope you really like it. So thanks for being with me today. Subscribe below to follow me on my journey throughout San Diego from a San Diego native. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was my first ever video, so please, I apologize in advance for all of the shaky camera angles and bad timing, but anyways, I hope you can look past all that and see how much I enjoy cooking and sharing with you. Thank you so much, and subscribe. Well, friends, that does it for another edition of My San Diego Life. I hope you enjoyed cooking in the kitchen with me today, where we made delicious, preservative-free, sugar-free, homemade applesauce from leftover apples on our kitchen table. I hope you subscribe below to my San Diego life and follow me, Michelle, on my adventures throughout my hometown of San Diego, California. I hope to see you again next time. Have a great day.